Right on. It is so great to see you all. And I am happy to be with you and that you guys hold all this space. This month, we had been doing the topic of love. Julia chose that. And I was actually studying a book which actually has a lot of tie in with Buddhism, and it's a lot about practices. And the book is The Tools, and it's by Phil Stutz and Barry Michaels. And I've actually found the book useful. I've read a lot of books, and I like to teach these things to my students, and I like to learn new techniques. But I've been kind of avoiding doing a lot of these books unless I've heard a lot of great things. And I've heard a lot of great things from people I have a lot of respect for, right? And one of the tools, they suggest there's 5 tools that can really be useful to most people. And one of them is a tool called active love. Active love is useful when someone enrages us or incites us or challenges us, and we become obsessed with them. We may be vindictive, or we may be looking at how we're right, and we get stuck, according to Phil Lutz, and he's mainly the guy who developed, the other guy's a writer, enter a thing called the maze. And it's called the maze because when I've entered the maze, I've been in the maze a lot. I know them. When they said the maze, I'm like, wow, that's so right. I go in and I say, this person did this and this person did this and I'm right and I'm justified to do anything to get even. I get caught up and I start making a case against them. And my whole life in those moments where I'm stuck in the maze, I just get deeper and deeper in the maze, and it's hard to get out of once I'm in it. And that could be things like from my ancient history or from someone who just recently upset me, who was probably attached to my ancient history, right? And the maze is not where I want to spend my time, because when I'm in the maze, I'm not compassionate, and I'm not mindful, and I'm not of use to anyone, and I'm not enjoying my life, and I don't want that. And it's so once I'm in there, I'm just glued to it. Giving in is not the best choice either. So if I really am upset with somebody, I may need to communicate with them sometime, or set up boundaries, or set up skills. Some people don't do well with boundaries, and I need to do other things to work with them, which we might just call just really stringent boundaries, like, I'm not talking to you anymore, and that's appropriate sometimes. But giving in is not always the best choice either. So active love, I don't want to communicate that this book or I would hold on to that theory. It's active love is not giving in. It's a way out. And active love combines 2 incredible things, one of which I don't like: love and effort. I want things to be easy. I do. And active love is not always easy, because it involves me using a tool at a time I don't want to use the tool, right? And the idea of active love is when I practice it, I produce a state in me called outflow. And outflow is when I am connected to the universe. And there's another word for it. We call it flow state a lot. But it's that connection. And if I do active love, I develop that state. And I always think of outflow or being in the flow, and ikigai comes to mind, but I might be wrong on that. But I think that, no, ikigai is where, it's where you find your place and you do it. I think of it as surfing. As a teacher of really traumatized kids, I go, you can't control them. He goes, well, how do you work with them, John? Because they see me working with them, it's working. I go, I've always just been a surfer. So I see the wave and I get on the wave. But do I control that wave? No, I ride the wave and do the best I can. And sometimes that doesn't even look like I'm doing well, but you have to understand the situation to know whether I'm doing well or not. There are 3 steps to active love. The first one is concentration. And this is all really Buddhist too. And there's a fact the meditation coming up will seem an awful lot like a metta meditation. And I don't think that's coincidental. But concentration is where I concentrate on bringing in all the love I can. The next one is transmission, and that's where I take all that love and I transmit it to a person who I am having problems with. And the third one is penetration. Now, that word, I mean, that's the word that's in the book, so that's the word I'm going to use. I don't necessarily, but I would rather think of connection. It goes in such a way that the love I'm giving them is penetrating them, and it's creating a state of oneness between us. And that state of oneness, a lot of things can happen. And again, you can use this tool when people upset me or make me feel angry, when I'm plagued by memories or past injustices. And believe me, I still remember past injustices when I'm 11. Sometimes I revisit them and I go, why am I revisiting this? And they're prepared to deal with difficult people. And I used to do metta when I was preparing to deal with difficult people. I remember doing that, and it's a very useful tool for that. So I'm going to go ahead and lead the meditation. I'd ask for you to be in a noble yet relaxed sitting position or lying position. I meditated standing up this morning because it was very comfortable and made me very happy. So that's another option, but I stand mindfully, mountain pose, for those of you who know it. And it was amazing. So just start with that. Take just a few moments to get into this. Now I want to make a quick note. If you struggle with your breathing, just follow your breath the best you can. It can be shallow, it can be slow, fast. Follow it the best you can. Or if you can find something else to hook onto other than your breath, maybe you can tap your finger and follow the tapping. I know breathing can be really hard for some people. So when I say follow your breath, just think of that alternative. Now see the air around you imbued with love. You can visualize this however you want. Maybe a magical dust or a rainbow. It could be light. It could be butterflies, but just see yourself surrounded by love. As you inhale, you notice with each inhale, your heart is growing larger. First, the size of your fist, the size of 2 fists. It keeps growing larger with each inhale. Continue to see your heart grow larger until it fills your entire body. as your heart takes up your entire body, you take in another breath, and suddenly your heart is larger than your body and still growing. With each breath, you're inhaling all the love present in the room, and your heart keeps growing larger. Now it's twice as big as you. And it keeps on growing larger until it's the size of the entire room, filled with all the love that's present in the room. Now with each exhale, you release any ill will that's within you, and your heart grows smaller as it concentrates that love into a denser and denser mass. Exhale ill will, and your heart shrinks with each exhale, and your heart grows denser with all that love. Now the heart is the size of your body. All the love just feels chock full, like it can't go any smaller, but each time you exhale, your heart grows smaller. And now your heart is normal size, rich and dense with love, emptied of goodwill. Let's just take some breaths and enjoy our heart filled with love. Now, remembering you are filled with love, see the irritable person or the person who's been irritating you or upsetting you in front of you. Just see how their normal facial expression. Close. They're right across the room from you. And visualize a powerful beam leaving your chest and going to the other person and filling them with love. It's penetrating their being. Feel the connection between you and this other person. With each exhale, you are pumping them full of love. send all the love you gathered into this other person. Let's take a few breaths. And you notice that even though you pumped this person full of all the love you've gathered, that your own heart is filled with even more love than what you had before you sent out this beam of love. And you realize that love and ill will can grow and multiply without limit. But love still grows the most. It grows more than ill will. You can release the person who's in front of you. You no longer need to think about them. Let's take a few breaths just to enjoy all the good energy we have inside ourselves. Take in one last deep breath. Become aware of the room around you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Julia. When I first did this meditation by myself was a couple weeks ago, and this is a confession, but I think it's funny. But I did the laser beam is what I thought from my chest, and then initially I saw it dissolving the person who I was shooting it at. I said, I don't think that's the intention of this meditation. Dissolve them with love. Now they're gone. So that's a true story. And that's why I changed it to a beam, because originally I said a laser beam, and it was just too easy for me to just make that leap. So I'm going to do a very simple dedication of merit. May we be happy and peaceful. May we be healthy and strong. May we be safe and protected. May we live with ease. Namaste.